Exclamation, everybody, and welcome back to Cube Ramblings. For me, it is Sunday night, September the 12th, Saturday night, September the 12th, 2015. Did I say Sunday or Saturday? I think I meant to say Saturday. Saturday night, September the 12th, 2015. It's almost Sunday night. It's just half an hour before that. It will be Sunday night by the time I'm finished recording here, hopefully. I hope everybody's been having a great week. Nice short week for those of us in the States, I'd hope, because everybody should have been off for Monday, maybe, unless you're in the service industry, in which case I feel for you very much so. Having worked for an e-commerce company, I feel your pain. Even though we did get some holidays. We there were some that were always with the asterisk on the calendar there, where it's like, yes, you're technically off, but you're on 24/7 phone duty. If any problems happen to arise, even if there is a suspected problem that ends up not being an issue at all. Oh, yes, history. I have it. I have lots of it. So anyway, tangent. As I said, I hope everybody's been having a great week. I've been struggling a bit to find information here. So we had this big kind of thing that happened last weekend. It was called PAX Prime, and honestly, I was expecting to hear a lot of stuff come out of it. Normally PAX Prime is like the premier thing for things, and it's almost as though thousands of people went into a black hole for several days, reemerged, shrugged their shoulders, and said, "Oh, what else is on TV?" I mean, it's like. It's like, seriously, I'm looking for articles and stuff. We talked about Lawbreakers, which was an announcement made last week. We talked about that, and that was made during PAX Prime, but then pretty much nothing else. I'm like, clearly stuff happened, but nobody's talking about it at all, from what I can tell. So either there's awesome freaking stuff on the horizon, or it was largely a networking event and nothing really substantive happened there as far as game announcements and whatnot. I don't know. I've been looking around. I've seriously been looking all high and low, and I have not seen mention of much of anything that happened there. So that's kind of a bummer. But as they say, the show must go on, even if it's not a full hour. Although every time I say that, I end up somehow making it a full hour. one way or the other, it ends up being that way. Or in most cases, I end up having to go back and record more footage because I went over the time. Hint, hint, last week, hint, hint. That's why you got a pretty extended overture of the ends song that I do during my end slates. Mostly because I had extra footage. I had to record extra footage, and then I recorded a little bit too extra much. So I was like, well, let's just make all this line up as much as we can. So that's a thing. Not the first time I've done that, anyway. And some other cool things have happened. Yesterday, was it? Yeah, I think yesterday. Which was Friday for me and 2 days ago for you. I was sitting in the office. I was doing my work, and I went and happened to I needed to take a little bit of a break from the coding for a little minute. Like 5-10 minute break. You're allowed them sometimes. And no, the company I work for is really good about that stuff. So I jumped into my news feeds, as I tend to do. Feedly there, and I just happened to be perusing, the Wing Commander CIC news feeds, as I tend to do, and I noticed that there was a video. They were talking about a video had been put up about Wing Commander Flat Universe, and I was like, oh, cool! Somebody went and did a video on it. And so the way Feedly works is it will actually it will take all the contents of the RSS feed, and it'll give you a little tab that slides out, like a drawer that slides out from the side, and then you can read some of it there, and then you can also go to the website and all that stuff, and it will embed any of the embeds that were in the RSS feed and so on and so forth. And so it had the video embedded in there. It had pretty much the entire article in there. I rarely, if ever, go to the full site for Wing Commander CIC because their RSS feeds are really good. Like, there's a lot of sites that give you like really terrible RSS feeds where they cut it off before you even figure out what the hell they're talking about, so that they get the full click through. But CIC has been really good about that. You can see the full article pretty much. And saw the video come up, and I was like, oh, let me click on this and see who it is. And I rolled over it, and it said, and I saw the title, right, because it's an embed, a YouTube embed, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, this looks weird. It's like, hang on a second. I start reading the article, and I'm like, it's my video. They linked to my video, which is really cool. For a guy who's been visiting that site for nigh on 12 years or so or more, as a lurker. I do have a forum account, but as I tend to do, I lurk on all the things. I just use that just in case I ever did feel the need to say something, which is rare, very rare for me to pipe up on any forums, just because it's just the problem that I run into, and this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I do want to go into Steam. I do want to write Steam reviews for the games that I've played through fully, and I do have a curator, kind of, although it's not a curator yet because you got to do like 10 different things in order for it to actually be an approved curator. But 10 different write-ups or something like that. But it's I have it there with the intention of doing that, and I never gotten around to it. Mostly because it takes me forever and a day to write stuff. Not that I don't know what I want to write. It's more like I have like an extreme form of this thing that I suffer from while talking, right? Which is, while talking, I'm constantly going through dialogue trees in my head, like, oh, make sure you say this or don't say that, or if I say this, what response would I get, and so on and so forth. And so I end up stuttering a bit, and I get the case of the ums and the ahs and all that stuff, just to give my brain a chance to catch up. And the ums and the ahs really hurts me more on the YouTube stuff, because I feel like I'm under the constant pressure of needing to say something. I can't just like shut up for minutes, which is a wrong assessment. I really should, keep have moments of silence. I mean, it's perfectly okay. But I still do that. I still have that tick in my brain. But I have that even worse with writing, where I'll go and I'll write something, and then I'll, revise it, and then revise it again, and then revise it again, and revise it again, and revise it again, and revise it again. It ends up taking me, if it would take me, say, 35 minutes to do a video on a game that's new, or any kind of review, if I ever did review videos, which I don't really do, if it took me 35 minutes to do that, it would take me probably an hour and a half to write something up, just because I'm constantly, when I'm writing something, it's got to be like perfect. I can't, because when you write something, you don't have the inflections of your voice. You don't have that that extra information is not being conveyed, right, to people. So, when I'm saying something, you could kind of tell when I'm trying to be funny, or trying to be facetious, or I'm just being sarcastic, or something of that nature. You can pretty much tell that when I'm being serious and when I'm not, because of the way that my voice changes, and the fact that I laugh uncontrollably too often, and things of that nature. But when I'm writing, you can't convey that unless I sit there, and I'm that guy in IM chats where I'm like, every chat that I send out's got some sort of emoticon in it. or emoji or something, because I'm just like, I got to make sure they know that I'm just being sarcastic here, or something, or smiley faces all over the place. Let them know I'm not angry. I'm that guy, right? So but you can't do that. You can't pepper that throughout a write-up, right? You gotta pick and choose your words in such a way that there's very little room for misinterpretation. It's kind of like applying Latin to English in some ways in my brain when I'm writing stuff. So it ends up taking me 3 times as long to do that as it does a video, which is why I've been just lazy and just doing videos and not doing reviews. But that sucks from a perspective of like the devs and stuff, because having a bullet list and that they can read through at their own leisure and just refer to and all that stuff is a lot easier than trying to have to rewatch a 45-minute episode where maybe 5 or 10 minutes of it is actual good information, if even that. So I get it. It's just one of those things that I've been taking the lazy road out on all that stuff for the most part. How did I get on that tangent? I guess I'm not even sure how I got on that tangent. I'll be honest with you. It's at that point where I'm just like, you know what? Somehow this road wound around here, and I don't know what point I was getting to, but I'm just going to keep on rambling on, and hopefully everybody will just be cool with it. I don't even know how I brought it up. I literally don't. But I get it now. So seeing that go up was really a surprise, really awesome, very very pleasant surprise. Seeing that go up on Commander CIC, a place that I've been on quite often, and that was really cool. That I saw that during the day. Now I looked at the stats because the video had gone up on Thursday. So Thursday night I looked at the stats on it, and it was like 9. And I looked at it when I got home from work, which was like 6:30 or so, and there were like 9 views on it, which is about normal for my side quest videos. And then the next day when I saw that at work, I came home, looked at the stats, and it was up to 128, I think, at that time, like 6:30 on that day. So that gives you an idea of the amount of people who visit the CIC and Commander CIC and are huge fans, and the amount of clout they have. So that's really cool. As of this time, I could have pulled it up, but I didn't. I think as of a few hours ago, it was up to about 226. So it's rolling in. It's pretty cool. Very, very cool stuff. I don't get nearly that many for anything. So it was really cool to see that. Much props and love to all those folks over there. They've been keeping that site running for so long, and they have news like pretty much every day about things and fan projects and whatnot. And I use them all the time to figure out if there's fan stuff going on, because I love the Wing Commander universe. I've always loved it, and even having said that, I haven't played every game in the series yet. I played the Wing Commander 1 first on the NES, and then I actually didn't play it on the PC until maybe 2007 or 8, maybe 2009. Because there was a PC Gamer, not PC Gamer, Computer Gaming World, which doesn't even exist anymore. It was a magazine that I used to get, and I got the subscription with the DVDs that you would get every month, and on the DVD you would have all these demos and stuff. And occasionally, I would say twice in the term that I had Computer Gaming World, there were DVDs that had full versions of games that had been kind of sort of abandoned, sort of. You couldn't buy them anywhere at that time. And so they had them on the DVD. That's where I got Deus Ex that I have, the copy of Deus Ex that I have, which I just have sitting over here. The original Deus Ex. That's how I got into the original Deus Ex. Once I played that on that disc, I was like, wow, this is actually really good, because I never had heard of it until that point. And then I went and bought Deus Ex 2 Invisible War, and then my love affair just continues to this day with that. With the whole series, I mean. Maybe not necessarily with Deus Ex 2, but with the whole series. And the same thing was true for, and there was a couple other things on that disc that I don't remember. I think I've talked about it once before. I have it, it's like laying near the microphone here somewhere, but I think it's under a pile of stuff. Like I've got, I'm looking over here. There's, first of all, I've got Halo the Master Chief Collection right by my elbow, which I intend on playing. I bought, I don't know if I told anybody this, I bought the ODST expansion, DLC for that, because I played Halo 3 ODST on the Xbox 360. Loved the hell out of it. So I am chomping at the bit to do videos on that at some point. Like I said, I'm trying to keep the videos a little bit more sane on the channel going forward. Plus, I want to change the schedule too, which is going to happen sooner rather than later, because I just finished Driver San Francisco. So I think the last episode of that will be on Monday. We'll see. My last session in it was 2 hours long, and I think I had to redo things so many times that I think there's enough there that it's going to be an extended episode, but I don't think it's going to be that long. It might be like 45 to 50 minutes or so. Most of that is literally the credits at the end. I mean, I have no qualms against credits at the end of games, but they like made these credits run so freaking slow. It took like, literally, I let it, continue running and continue recording, and it literally took something like 20 minutes, I think, just for the credits to finish, which is hilarious. It's going to be hilarious for me trying to get audio, some music to play during that. But I might secretly speed it up just a little bit, just a tad, not enough that you can't read stuff, but also not keep it at the at the turtle's pace that it is, or tortoise's pace that it's at now. But yeah, I have that all recorded, so I think there'd be one more episode of that, unless I find that I need to split it into two. But that might not be the case. It might be just one more after that. So that will be the finale of that. Will be going out, and then we're going to replace it with something. That time slot is going to be something different entirely. Like I said, I'm adopting more of a YouTuber schedule here. I did record some Witcher 3 today. I got about 2.5 hours of it, but there was a lot of me dying and redoing things. So it's probably going to be, I don't know how many episodes I'm going to get out of it. Hopefully enough for the week, but we will see. We will see. Like I said, I'm doing things a little bit differently than I normally do them. Although with that one, it's probably not going to be as different as you might imagine. So cool things there. And what was I talking about? I was talking about the Wing Commander 1. So then another CD that came out with Computer Gaming World, I believe it was, had the Wing Commander Kilrathi Saga on it, amongst other games, full games on it. And so I played that. I played some of that. I played some of Wing Commander 1. I'd already played Wing Commander 1 on the NES, so I knew what it was. So I didn't get too crazy with it because, I already knew the story. But I played just a little bit just to see how different it was, and it wasn't that different between that and the NES version, which was good. I played Wing Commander 2 all the way through from that Kilrathi Saga CD that I have. And that was fun. I like that. I would revisit that again whenever I can. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of old games I want to revisit on the channel at some point. But I gotta balance it out. Make sure that I don't go too nostalgic, and at the same time make sure I have other things for people to watch too. trying to be variety all the way through. And see, I played that. I didn't play. So I played Wing Commander 1. I played the Secret Missions, but I played that on the NES. I did not play Special Ops, which came with the Kilrathi Saga. I didn't play that. I should play that at some point. I just didn't think to do it at the time. And I played... What else did I play? Wing Commander 3, I've played through multiple times. I had bought that on my own back in the day for the PC. And I have that as part of the Kilrathi Saga too, which is good because about a year or two ago, I decided to pull the CDs out again and try to play Wing Commander 3 in DOSBox, and I got it working and everything. It was working really well, except I went to pull disc number 2, I think it was, out of the jewel case, and it cracked in half, and I was very bummed out. I was really bummed out about this. Oh no. So, because the jewel cases that those came in, for some reason, were really, really tight around the discs. So when you go to pull them out, you got to sort of give them a little bit of extra force to get them out of there, and it's just enough to crack them in half. So that was unfortunate. But I have that, played through that many times, and played through Wing Commander 4 several times as well. Love that game too. Never played Prophecy though. I just wasn't. I don't know. The story for Prophecy never really tickled me too much. You know, they brought some of the actors back for the full motion video scenes and stuff, but I just didn't. Yeah, the story just didn't grab me as much as the stories for Wing Commander 3 and 4. Like, you know, they couldn't do much more with the Kilrathi because they were basically defeated. They had a little cameo of the Kilrathi in, you know, Wing Commander 4 just to, you know, give sort of an update in the world, in-universe update as to what was going on with them, since they were the big bad for many, many decades as far as the universe is concerned. But they didn't play a prominent role. And I liked the story of Wing Commander 4. It was really good. I just didn't... The story of Wing Commander 5 just never really captured me, I guess. Because it's more... You know, they did the thing that a lot of sci-fi series end up doing, which is they bring in another alien species. And this alien species is even more, you know, ruthless and unforgiving than the previous ones. And so it's kind of, you know, you had a lot invested in the one species, in the one thing, and then they bring in another one. It's like, it's just not the same. It just didn't feel, it wasn't as interesting. You know, if I talk about, like, say, Stargate, for instance, the Goa'uld were a very interesting big bad, and they were the big bad for, what, 9 seasons? Something like that, until we finally just kicked the crap out of the last system lord and made them go away for good. But then they had that conundrum, which was like, well, this is pretty much the premise of the whole TV show, so we need another big bad. And so they went with another alien thing, and they went with the Ori, and there was nothing particularly wrong with the Ori arc, although it did sort of touch a little bit more into religion and stuff than maybe the Goa'uld arc did. Not that there's anything particularly wrong with that, it's just you sort of have to dance around things a little bit sometimes. It gets a little bit awkward, I think, in some of the storytelling. A good example of that is Battlestar Galactica, when they start bringing some of the religious themes into it. It was just kind of awkward, especially in the last episode. The last episode of that was, the first hour was fantastic. The second hour was just, you know, dumb. I was searching my brain for a good adjective there, and I could not find one. So I'm going to stick with the word dumb. But it was not. I wasn't a fan. Let's put it that way. But with the, with Stargate, with the Ori, they had the same sort of problem, which is like, well, these guys got to be bigger and badassier than the Gould, otherwise they're not going to be a match for us, because we've got all these, we've got all this technology now. We've got Asgard technology, beaming technology. We've got the X302s and all this stuff. Our technology advanced greatly because we had this big bad that we're fighting, and then we vanquished them, and now we're pretty damn badass, right? So they needed another race that would completely wipe the floor with them and bring the fear of losing Earth back into scope, because that had been lost after a while. Oh, sorry about that. I had the cough. It was coming on, and I need to mute the mic and take care of that. So they they had that sort of problem, and that's kind of the problem that I felt like with Wing Commander 5, Wing Commander Prophecy, as it was. It was just it suffers from that same thing where it's like, yeah, I get it. You need someone who's even worse than the rest because the technology is caught up and all that stuff, but it wasn't as, I guess, to me, not as interesting, right? Because I had more invested. There was more interest in the Kilrathi. There was more backstory. There was more universe. There was more of everything with them than there was with the more history and all that stuff. So that's kind of the thing it's unfortunate, but that's just the reason why I never really got into that particular title. And at some point, maybe I'll get back to it. Who knows? I was actually a little bit earlier. I was playing the GOG version of Wing Commander Privateer, getting my old ship in there and everything else. It was pretty cool. And I was thinking to myself, this would be cool to live stream. I don't know that I would put it on. I don't know that I would do a YouTube series on it, because there is a lot of downtime. There would be a lot of editing that you have to do. I'm trying to limit some of that going forward, because I've already got a lot of editing that I have to do for like The Witcher and stuff. So I'm trying to get some more videos in there that I don't have to really do too much to. Not that it's more of a time thing than a desire thing. I desire to have highly edited videos. I just don't have the time to do it. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't oversaturate my time constraints again with a lot of things that I have to highly edit, because then that's when I fall behind, and that's when the schedules go all wonky and stuff like that. But I could see myself doing that as a live stream. I didn't realize. I remember playing it with the text. The copy that I own. I own the CD-ROM copy. And I remember it having the text on it. But apparently, when I was doing some research on it, and apparently you can only get the subtitles if you turn the sound off, which kind of sucks, because sound is a really important thing, and there's a lot of voice dialogue in the game, and I didn't realize that. I swore I could swear that the copy that I have, which has voice dialogue in it because it's a CD-ROM copy, I could swear that I had the subtitles on and the speech going at the same time. But apparently not. Apparently that's not a thing. So that also makes it kind of rough for the YouTubes and stuff, because a lot of times you can't hear the voices But you know, it's neither here nor there. That is just something I was thinking about there. There is a nostalgia trip that I will be probably doing. I mentioned a little bit earlier that I own Deus Ex 2 Invisible War, and I've wanted to for a while revisit that to see why I liked it so much. Because I remember liking it a whole lot. Like I finished the game. I don't remember why I liked it. That's the thing. Because everybody who's into the Deus Ex franchise keeps telling me that that was the worst game of the franchise, and I can kind of see it. I mean, it certainly was a departure from the other games in the series, but I remember liking it so much. So I want to revisit it with a new pair of eyes, an older pair of eyes, much older pair of eyes, and see what I liked about it. So I have the Steam version of it, which I bought in one of the bundles. I think I got a key for it in one of the bundles. I have the actual disc lying around too, but I figured, you know, if I already have it in a bundle, and I got the Steam key for it, so might as well. It was the same bundle that I got Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut in, because the version that I bought of Human Revolution was the non-Director's Cut version. So that was the one that they didn't patch. You know, like the Director's Cut one was patched with the, you know, remove the piss yellow filters on everything, so that you can actually enjoy the game. And that's why I played the Director's Cut version. Plus, I played it with some mods and everything else to make it a little less ridiculous, you know, like the inventory mods and things. But with Deus Ex 2, I looked around, and there is a way. I've managed to get it to work to where I can record it in widescreen with 120 degree field of view, and you know, relatively high graphics and all that stuff. So unfortunately, I can't record it in DxTory or Fraps. Well, I could record it probably in Fraps, but I can't. I've never gotten Fraps to record at 60 reliably, 60 FPS. So I did a test recording of it in OBS, local recording there, and it seemed to come out pretty well. So I will be possibly recording that again. I'm going to re-record what I did first, because I wasn't really feeling it at first. I wasn't participating as much in the conversations that were going on as I wanted to. So I'm going to end up starting over from new and recording that at some point, and I think that will be the main attraction on the channel, the main Jane, if you will, of the channel. And I'm gonna, you know, that'll be the main thing on the schedule. And then I have another game that I want to record or start recording. That will be the secondary, which will be probably Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we'll see how that goes. I still have a bunch of episodes of Dex ready to go. I have to render a few more, but that'll be ending soon. And then of course I'll still be doing Soul Zero as well. So that's going to be continuing, and as well, you know, side quests. I was sort of I did SteamWorld Dig as my last side quest video, even though it's been out for a while, and there's nothing that says I can't do that. I mean, it's just a one-off videos. That's why I call them side quests. But I did that mostly because I had already played the game, and I was woefully unprepared to record anything else. I have other titles here that I want to record, but I hadn't actually played any yet, and so I was kind of stumped. I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? I need a video here. So that's why it was like a random video day. That was for that, why it was so random there. But there you go. That was that. And I live streamed some more Mad Max. I am about, I would say, just over 6 hours into the game now. and I'm still I'm still only about 4 or 5 missions into the main story arc because I keep doing all the side things all the time. I'm like, oh, I gotta go to this tower here, and I gotta go do this, I gotta do that, and if you're the type of person that gets frustrated by somebody doing all the side questy things first, you'll hate you will have all the hate for all the things that I've been doing at Man Max, but I'm enjoying it. I actually enjoy the combat. I'm getting a little bit better at it, so it's pretty cool from that regard. And my playthrough of Borderlands franchise continues. I made some progress in Borderlands 1, but I feel like I still have many moons to go yet on that. What I need is another big, long live stream on that. I've been doing mostly hour, maybe 2 hour live streams on it, and I feel like I need a big, like 3 to 4 hour live stream on that to get over the next hurdle in it. But I'm enjoying it, so it doesn't really matter at that point. I'm just trying to... I would like to get through the entire franchise if I can. So, and I'm going to do it in... I think I'm going to do it in... not in chronological order, but in franchise order. So, what that means is I would do it in... I'd do Borderlands, do all the DLC for Borderlands, then Borderlands 2, and then all the DLC for that, and then Borderlands, the pre-sequel, probably. I think I'm going to do it that way, rather than do it in universe order, or chronological order for universe. I think I'd rather do it in franchise order, just because of the way the technology and stuff, you know, the original Borderlands is really showing its age, and I had a feeling that jumping from that to the more modern, you know, the pre-sequel, and then maybe jumping back again to Borderlands 2 would kind of put me at odds a little bit with it. So I figured, let me just do the progression the way it was originally done, franchise way, and then you know, rather than trying to keep them in sequence. So that's my plans on that, and that's going to be a long way going there. Whole lot to do on that. Whole lot. And everywhere I turn, there's more RPGs coming out, particularly indie RPGs and all that stuff. So, and they all look fantastic. I'm like, oh man, there's another thing I gotta play. I got so many RPGs, so many long form RPGs to play. It's just boggling me right now. I'm like, oh man, I'm just gonna be like the RPG guy. I gotta somehow knock out a bunch of these RPGs at some point and just get through them. How I would do that is another story. I have no clue. Like 5 24-hour live streams back to back or something crazy like that to get through those. But yeah, I have my work cut out for me there as far as those are concerned. And then we've got some racing games out here too. I've been looking at all the feedback on Forza Motorsport 6. I'll leave you a link to Your Gamer article. It talks a little bit about it, but doesn't have the review yet. It's I've been watching Vintage Beef play it, and I've been looking at videos, and I've been looking at some of the other articles that have been written on it. And normally I'm not into the simmy games. It sounds like it's not that hardcore simulation. It sounds like it's more a light core simulation, almost action, but not quite. So I'm kind of curious. I sort of want to buy it and play it on the Xbox One and probably record it if it's any good. Because the thing is, it's not like the open world racers. I like the open world racers because I can it gives you sort of a coherence between things. You know, it's more, you're almost guaranteed that it's going to be more action packed because they want you to drive around and see the world and all that. So I like those. this is more of a, move from one track to next, and one track to next, one track to the next, which is fine. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. It's just, I always kind of have that, like, inkling in the back of my head, like, I don't know if this is I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy this or not. I don't really know. But the more I see about it, the more I'm like, you know what? I probably will enjoy the heck out of it. So I might as well just buck up and try my hand and see if I can purchase that. So I might be purchasing that on the Xbox One at some point. The other thing that's kind of gnawing at the back of my head is Destiny. We have the Taken King, I think, is coming out very shortly, if not already out. And I would really like, I have the full version of Destiny. I have it sitting here. It's been sitting here for months, and I played it once off camera, and actually I played it a couple times. I attempted to play it a couple times off camera, and I kept having networking issues where it kept just kicking me off. So my thought was that I would try to get back to it and see if maybe they've either fixed the network issues that were causing me problems where I kept getting kicked every time I was in a world for, like, I get in, I would start a mission, and then, 5 minutes into the world, it would just kick me out and say, oh, you've been disconnected. I'm like, well, what the hell is this? I had no problems in the beta at all. Like, I played through the beta. Maybe there was like one or two little issues, but nothing. I was able to play through the entire beta, basically, without any real problems. But then the full version came out, and it was suddenly like, nope, can't do it. So I've been waiting for a moment when I can possibly get back in there, and maybe there won't be as much load on their servers. Maybe they'll have fixed whatever their networking issues were or whatever, so that I can actually play the freaking game. So I'm hoping maybe I could start playing that some. I don't know. I'm at that point where I just don't know if it's going to work or not. I want it to work, but who knows? Who knows if it's going to work? If it's going to work for me, or if it's going to have a bunch of networking issues. So, and the problem is with it being on the Xbox, once you start playing the game, I can't start a new game. As far as I know, I can't wipe the characters and start new. I have to. It's just, that's the other thing that gets me about the consoles, right? It's like, a lot of times I want to play a game for an hour or two to see if it's something I like enough to record, and then record it. But no, with the consoles, it's like, well, you might as well start recording it now, and then if you just don't like it, then just throw your recording away, or buck up and just put the recording out there and just suck it up a little bit. I don't know yet. I don't know yet on that. I also don't kind of want another series running right now. I know in the beta, for when I put the beta video up of Destiny, I got quite a few false content ID hits on it that ended up clearing up on their own. Like, the people that were put the claims in ended up clearing them out. And they were visual content hits on the cutscenes, which is the trolliest thing in the world you could ever do. But luckily they got fixed. So there's also that piece where I'm like, oh, I don't know if this, because I've already had issues with it. I'm like, oh, am I going to put the effort in and then find out that I can't upload any videos, or what's going on? What's going to happen with this? So that's the other part that kind of gives me a little bit of pause about it, because I could probably sit down and play it on my own, but I have so many other things I'd rather play for an audience. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where, yes, I occasionally do play things just for myself, but not that often. Mostly when I'm playing a game, I'm mostly recording it, just because I enjoy it so much. Why not do that? And that's, I guess if I were doing this full time, I would probably have more time where I would just not be recording stuff, just playing for my own benefit and not for anything else. But being part-time and being a hobbyist and having a full-time job. It's, you know, I've pretty much every moment that I'm not at work, I am doing something for the channel, pretty much, either research or recording. So that's that. I don't have a link to Destiny stuff, so oh well. But the Forza Motorsport 6 is one of those things where I think I might purchase it. I'm not sure yet. There's so many things coming out that I want them all in my life. Speaking of so many things coming out, there's a bunch of Kickstarters that recently have been funded or will be funded in a few hours, that I've backed that are really, really interesting concepts. And I want to talk about them, even though their Kickstarters are over with. They still have a bunch of these still have websites where they can collect pledges and stuff from. But I just wanted to talk about some of these games because they're rather interesting. I think the first one I have on my list here is CivCraft: Legends of Ellariaa. This game, the reason it caught my attention. So it's an RPG game. It's an action RPG game, but it's also got elements of real-time strategy and elements of open world sandbox and elements of action RPG, third person action RPG in it. They've combined all three of those things and just like into one package. And it was an interesting concept. I'm like, this has got my attention. This has got something of my attention. It's got, the graphics may not be quite up to snuff yet, but it's still early in it. If you look at the videos for it, and it's, you know, they've got a ways to go, but I'm rather curious to see how they pull it off. Because basically blending all that stuff together, it's, you know, medieval-ish world. You know, you build castles and you raise armies. There's sort of a paragon / you know, like evil good system in it, where if you do like a lot of evil deeds, then your soldiers will be modeled around that, the AI for soldiers, and they'll do your bidding, your evil bidding and stuff like that. And as you're raising the armies, and that, you know, everything that you do affects that little social interaction world and all that stuff. So that's what's got me intrigued about it. I want to see what this looks like. I really do, because I feel like it's got an interesting trying to blend all those things together. Of course, you know, it's probably not going to be something a hardcore RTS fan would like, or hardcore action RPG guy would like, or hardcore FPS person would like, because it's trying to blend all three of those together. But if you're someone who maybe enjoys a little bit of all those, like me, like I play Minecraft, I play Imperium, which is another one that I need to record some more stuff for. I play a lot of action RPGs like Dex and what was that other one? The medieval one. I forget the name of it now. Templar, The Last Templar. That one. A few others along the way I've done. And I guess Destiny also kind of falls under the action RPG folder there too. And then also the real-time strategy stuff. Like I do Soul Zero. I've done... I do have the Homeworld Collector's Edition stuff still kind of sitting around here. I do intend on recording that for YouTube at some point. It kind of worries me because I know that the game is really hard and you'll redo stuff a lot. And I never actually finished the first game successfully. Like I got all the way to the last mission and then failed. So it's kind of got me a little bit scared, honestly, because I know there's gonna be a lot of hours that are going to just be in the crapper while I try to get past levels, grind, redo levels over and over and over again to try to get past them, because I keep dying along the way. So that's the only reason why that's been sort of hiding back a little bit. Plus, the first look at it might be once there's a speaking of Wing Commander, everything comes back to Wing Commander at some point, by the way. Speaking of Wing Commander, there is another fan mod for Homeworld that I have that I've been looking at, that actually puts Wing Commander ships into the game and has you can fight the Kilrathi and all that stuff. So yeah, that might be the first you see of me in Homeworld. Homeworld Remastered actually is that once it gets a little bit more mature. It's actually not in a bad state now, as of like a month ago when I played it. But I just want to give it a little bit more time to cook before I show it off. But yeah, there's that. So yeah, very, very interested about that. Very interested in how they're going to blend all those things together. And since I like all those genres that they're trying to blend together, I figure it's something that I'll probably enjoy. So yeah, that's that. That's CivCraft. The other one that I've backed recently, that I retweeted or I liked the video, which should have tweeted out, of theirs, where the dev actually went in and played about 30 minutes, I'd say, of the game and recorded it like a Let's Play, which is pretty cool. And that's called Exoplanet First Contact. And the best way I can describe it is, if you like Firefly, which, by the way, I do know that there is a Firefly MMO, and I need to pop my head back in sometime soon, because it's been a while since I last looked at it. I have like the free app that they, you can play with, that's just a toy that's trying to get you to buy stuff. But I'm waiting for the actual MMO, which is going to have some of the voice actors from the original series on there. But it's Exoplanet First Contact has got it's got sort of the aesthetic of the Borderlands franchise, kind of, with the sort of universe story kind of Firefly, right? So it's almost like a sci-fi Old West kind of setup that you've got in there. And I believe they actually have it. I believe they unlocked the stretch goal that says you can have a ship and a crew that you can use as your base. So it even becomes even more like Firefly in that regard. And they've got the action RPG mechanics in there that you kind of expect, with the leveling up and all that stuff. But it's also got survival elements to it. So you have to make sure you're constantly hydrated, and there's a campfire that you can pull around with you that you have to put down and sleep at to keep the monsters at bay at nighttime, and so on like that. And then with the RPG elements, they've got the story wrapped around it. And they were showing off in that video, which I don't have the link to, unfortunately, but I'm sure you can, if you look through my tweets, you'll see it. And maybe if I'll try to dig up the video for it, so you can, maybe I'll have a link for that. But it's in that they actually talk about the story and the RPG and the dialogue trees, and they've got it set up where it does the things that you would expect a modern RPG to do, that a lot of modern RPGs neglect, which is to say, there are multiple ways to finish quests. And the way it works is, like the one they were showing off, like you could do it one way and get, this huge reward for it. You could completely ignore it and just take what a slightly less reward for it. You could talk to you could get the full reward for the quest, but then instead of disposing of the stuff immediately, you take it to somebody else who's looking for it, who you would find if you had explored a little bit, and get not only all the rewards for completing the quest for the one person, but then also rewards for that quest for that person. You know what I mean? So like the quests can all sort of chain together a little bit, and it really gives you that feeling that the world is sort of living. You know, it's not a go to A and go to B, go to C. You can sort of do A a little bit, you can do a little bit of C, then you can come back to B a little bit. It's it gives you more of a choice, more of a way to play the game in your own style, which is what I really liked about it. It was a really cool idea that they had. I mean, it's not a new idea, but it's like hitting all the right strings for me. You know, playing all the right fiddles and strings in my fiddle. So, I backed them on Kickstarter, Exoplanet First Contact, and they still have a PayPal link up on their website, which I'm linking you to. That will, if you didn't even hear about them, you can still support them and get the regular backer rewards and all that stuff. And then I think I've talked a little bit about Everspace before, although I typed this in, it didn't actually tell me that I had another row with this, so I don't know if I've talked about Everspace or not, but that's another one that I have backed on Kickstarter. And I might have talked about it in passing, because I feel like I have at some point, but it was just a beautiful sci-fi first and or third person space fighter game with roguelike elements in it. And the artwork in it, I mean, if you watch the videos of it, the artwork in it is just phenomenal. Like, it looks beautiful. It's done in the Unreal Engine 4, I think. And it's just absolutely insanely beautiful, what they've done with the artwork there. And it's, again, another interesting take on things, right? It's like you are a fighter pilot. You have resources and stuff that you have to maintain, repairs that have to be made, enemies that have to be killed, and you're doing all that in the roguelike fashion, right? Which is, okay, here's all your stuff that you have to manage. There's an asteroid over there that you can mine. You can go mine that with your mining lasers and get the resources out of it. You can go and take you can decide that you don't want to hang around and explore this area because you're running low on fuel or something, or you need spare parts and you can't find any, so you need to hang around a little bit, or you don't have to hang around a little bit, or you think you might get jumped at any moment by something, so you decide to just jump away. It's they have the nodes on the map like normal roguelikes have anymore, that you jump between and choose your own path and things like that. Different playthroughs every time, so on and so forth. It's even though I tend to play roguelikes I tend to lose interest in the roguelikes after dying about a dozen or more times. This one I could see holding my interest a little bit more, maybe, but I don't know. I just, it's one of those things where I'm like, that has to be made. That's why I backed on Kickstarter. I'm like, this right here deserves to be made. It's a work of art, I tell you. I'm notoriously bad at just explaining gameplay and stuff. I've never been good at explaining what a game does. I just don't have that particular talent. I guess it's mostly because I don't want to quote box things. You know what I mean? It's like you listen to a lot of the YouTuber reviewers, and they're like, "Oh, it's got 90 MIPS and 20 bips and 45 of this, and you can, you can't bind this, you can't do that, and they've got it down to a science about all the terminology, and they reuse and use the same terminology over and over again. And I could probably do that if I put my mind to it, but I'd rather just be a normal person trying to describe something poorly. There you go. I'm just trying to be a normal person describing stuff poorly. That sums me up right there. But yeah, Everspace is another one that's on my radar that I'd like to, as soon as I can get, I've backed all these at a tier that gives me alpha access. So, assuming they don't have any NDAs or anything like that, as soon as I can get my hands on something and it's decent enough that I can that I feel like I can do a video on it, then you guys will reap the benefits of that. Let me tell you, especially like Everspace here, or Exoplanet, all three of these. Honestly, if I can get them in my hands, I will be making videos as soon as I possibly can with those. And then so another little phenomenon that I've gotten into this week, because we have a little bit of time. I'm impressed that I have gone. I'm almost at my hour mark here, my hour and 5 minute mark, which is damned impressive. But I have a confession to make here. They say confession is good for the soul. Hopefully this is true. I have become addicted to something that is really stupid. Really, really dumb. You might have heard of a type of game. It's particularly relevant on mobile devices. They're called idle games, or sometimes clicker games, or cow clickers. I have one of those installed on my tablet, and when I get done recording here, I'm going to end up firing it up again to look at it. It's it's pretty bad. I've been playing Clicker Heroes. If you can call an idle game playing, then I've been playing it. It's more like it's been playing me. And it's like one of the reason I'm embarrassed by it, it's one of the most basic freaking things you could ever come up with, and yet I am utterly addicted to the damn thing. It's like, basically you just click, you do damage, and things die, you collect gold, you power up you get more people in your party who then do the damage for you, so you don't have to click all the time or tap the screen all the time, and then you keep powering them up, and it's just an endless thing of just get them to level 500, 600, 700. Every time you do that, you level them up, you get they do more DPS per minute, and then along the way you're killing these cute and fluffy things to get to level 100, and then there's achievements that you get that then give you rubies, which allow you to do permanent buffs for your people, and it's just like, it's the most basic concept you could ever possibly come up with. And I look at that and I go, I should not like this. This should not be something that I like. This should be something that I get bored with, because I get bored with things that are far more complicated than this, and yet this damn thing keeps calling out to me. Its damn siren song. Click me. Click me. It's driving me insane. And I did not set out to become addicted to this thing, and yet I am. And luckily it has not drained any of my wallet. I'm not that addicted to it. There are means at which you can do in-app purchases. I have not done any, and I don't intend to do any, because it's a freaking stupid game, and yet I'm freaking I can't put it the frick down. So, yeah. yeah. It's just, I don't know. I'm not even going to, you know what? I'm not even going to link to it. I'm not even going to, I will not do that to you. None. Not linking to it. Nothing. Not going to tell you who makes it. I'm just going to say it's called Clicker Heroes. Avoid it like the plague, unless you want to get addicted like I have gotten addicted to it. It's just, I guess because when I go gambling, I use the slot machines because I don't like the table games because there's all that unwritten etiquette like, oh, you shouldn't hit on this number because there's other people at this table that want to win too. And I was like, well, yeah, screw you. I'm playing for myself, right? So I end up just playing the slot machines, and I guess because I only play slot machines when I gamble, and this is just basically a slot machine. I'm like, I need more. It's invading my dreams. So note to the wise, be very careful about idle games and clicker games and all that stuff, because they may consume you entirely. If I am not immune to them, then no one is. Let me tell you that much. So yeah, I just wanted a little funny anecdote I just wanted to put out there because I have a little extra time here and I thought, why not? I don't have enough time to talk about the other things I have on the list here, like freaking Nintendo. Oh God, I've had, someone asked me like, would you do Pokemon on your channel? Not with the way Nintendo treats YouTubers. But that'll be a story probably for next week. Thanks so much everybody for watching and listening on SoundCloud. As always, I'll be doing this every week, every Sunday. This is Cube Ramblings. Thanks so much for watching everybody, and I will see you next Sunday.